thanks for the introduction. My name is David Thirumur. I am an executive leadership and life coach. I've been working across 35 countries for the past 15 years. I've worked with over 370,000 people around the globe. And I would like to define myself as someone who's extremely passionate about human potential and seeing people reach their full capabilities. Because honestly, I was one of those kids who grew up watching these sci-fi movies about people traveling to space and all those cool things that they did. Or, you see some of these movies, like, for example, the Avengers or some of these sci-fi movies, and then they're like able to pull things out of the computer and do things with their hands and come up with all this really cool stuff. And I remember being younger watching all these things, and I was like, that's just so cool. I would just love when I get older and they're going to have that stuff. And then, of course, I got older and realized a lot of that stuff wasn't there. So then I began to think, well, what is it that the world of our dreams and the world that we picture and the world that we kind of start to visualize when we're younger and we dream of, a lot of the things that we think of don't actually happen or come into being. And that became sort of a passion for me to kind of figure out, well, if everything that is in existence has been made by somebody, and not like it's by anybody particularly special or particularly gifted. Yes, people have innate talents. Yes, people have innate skills. But for the most part, it's just regular people like you and me who tap into their potential and who awaken that gift that is inside them, and they turn around and make a massive difference in their society, in their company, in their family, in their own life, and eventually the whole world. So I began thinking, well, what makes it different between someone that I admire and me? And so I want to turn that question out to you. I want to take like 30 seconds, just bring the first name that comes into your head of someone that you admire, someone that you look up to, and just jot that name down on a piece of paper. So what is the differentiating factor between this person that you look up to and admire, someone who's accomplished something that you consider to be great, and what is the differentiating factor between them and you? Would anyone like to volunteer a suggestion of what that could be?
Christy?
Mrs. Morris.
Mrs. Morris. Mrs. Morris.
Somebody else wants to volunteer?
I'm still trying to think
nobody
who
else
I
had a
admire.
chance because you were waving your hand.
Think myself.
Pick me. Chrissy, I got a flight to Birmingham, so hurry up.
All right, go ahead.
Main difference, I would say, would be years in the field.
Years in the field. Okay, that's a good one. So what have they accomplished in those years that they've spent in the field?
Successful business and nonprofits.
Successful business and profit. All right, where did they start from?
I'm sorry?
Where did they start from? At what level do they start at?
As a stockroom boy.
Okay. And where are they now?
Sitting at the end of the table.
Over here.
A serial entrepreneur.
That is amazing. So what got them from where they started to where they are right now?
I missed the first part.
So what got them from where they started to where they are right now, to the serial entrepreneur making that huge difference from the beginning place where they started?
Years of dedication and service in one singular field.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Years of dedication and service. Let's build off that. So dedication and service to reaching their ultimate potential. So they had a goal, they had an idea, they had something that they wanted to go after, and they worked on it bit by bit every single day till they got to the place that they are right now. So I think I wouldn't be far off the mark by saying that this person has reached their potential and they're continuing to grow it exponentially and make a big difference in their world. And we look up to them and we admire them and we say, you've done an incredible job. Wish I could be like you. Guess what? We all can be. Because, like you said, the difference is number of years in the field, difference is from where they started to where they are right now, the work that they put into it. And so in the session that we're in today, I want to help to break down that conversation for us and help us to understand how we too can transition into that role where we are maximizing on our potential and we are truly growing to the place where we want to be. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when everyone can see it.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to discuss what it takes for you to be able to reach your potential. So the word potential can be defined as having or showing the capacity to develop into something in the future, latent qualities or abilities that may be developed and lead to future successes or usefulness. When you think about potential, a very good illustration of potential is if you open an apple, you can see seeds in the apple. And there's a very old saying that says anybody can count the number of seeds in an apple, but no one could ever count the number of apples in a seed. Because all the apples that are there contained in that seed is potential. Now, does every single seed in every single apple turn into an apple tree that produces thousands upon thousands upon thousands of apples? No. But within every single seed lies that potential. Within every single person that is born on earth today is the same seed of potential that existed in anyone that we look up to and admire. People who went on to change the world, Nobel Prize winners, big time actors, members of government that we look up to, people who went across the world and did absolutely amazing things. The ones we read about in the newspaper, the one whose books we pick up and we're like, man, they did so much for this world. They had the same seed of potential inside them that is there in you, in the person that is sitting next to you, in your next door neighbor, in the person that you cross on the street, in the people that you meet every day, wherever you go. Every single human being has dormant, latent within themselves, the same seed of potential that can grow and transform and change this world. However, the vast majority of people never awaken to that full potential. The vast majority of people go through life without ever experiencing even a fraction of what they can achieve or what they can become. In fact, let me ask you a question. Where is the wealthiest place in the world? What do you think the wealthiest place in the world is? Any guesses?
Is that financial wealth?
Could be.
Finland, because it's the #1 happiest country in the world.
Okay, Finland's a good guess.
Right where I am,
Dubai.
where I'm sitting,
Right where you are.
Where was that?
where I'm sitting.
Okay. You want to explain that a little bit?
I feel well all the time, every day.
Yeah. Actually,
No.
you are almost correct because it is a place that you tend to cross almost every single day. In fact, the richest place in the world is a place that exists almost in every single community. It is a place that is there in every city and in every town, and sometimes even in every neighborhood. I like to call it the graveyard. Now, don't get any ideas of trying to go digging up any of these things because that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is millions of people over the course of the years go to their graves with their potential unrealized. Now, if you go, one thing I like to do is when I go to places, I like to visit various beautiful sites, and sometimes I like to go visit the cemeteries. You go to Scotland, they have absolutely gorgeous cemeteries there. Here in Stockholm, Sweden, the King's Cemetery is one of the most beautiful places that you can visit. They have tombs going back all the way to the Viking Age, and you walk through it. And an interesting practice that I like to do is I just like to sometimes look and read the tombstones and try to imagine the life stories of these people. And then I think, I wonder how many unfulfilled ideas are buried over here. Like, who knows if the cure to cancer was in somebody's head and they just never acted on it because they were too busy with something else? Who knows if the idea that could allow us to start living on another planet could be buried here because no one took the time to awaken that potential. And I think one of the biggest losses is for someone to go through their life and never experience the awakening of that potential, because within our potential lies our happiness. If you stop and think about it for yourself, the moments where you felt truly happy, the moments where you felt truly excited and motivated, when you were doing things you're like, I could do this the rest of my life, I totally love this, I resonate with this gets me so excited. A lot of our happiness is when we are experiencing what it's like to live out of a place of potential. But a vast majority of people fail to reach that potential because of one simple word, and that is capability. So the definition of capability is the power or ability to do something. Also, it is the extent of someone or something's ability. So you have your potential, everything that you could possibly be, everything that you could possibly achieve, everything that you could possibly become. And then you have your current capability. That's everything that you can currently do now. Everything that you currently are now. Everything that you currently know now. And one thing I tell the people I'm coaching all the time is that on our journey towards our potential, the vast majority of people trip and fall over their own limited capability. Because potential is limitless, but capability is extremely limited. So let's think about a person who wants to run a marathon. Someone who decides, I'm going to go run those 26 miles. That they have potential to do that, right? They've got the same energy, they got the same muscle systems, they got the same skeletal system, they got the same blood networks, the same neurological networks, pretty much the same as the other athletes out there. But there's a problem because their current capability, their current conditioning, the current form that they're in only has a capability of running about 200 yards. So there's a huge disconnect and a huge gap between the potential that exists and the current capabilities. And so a lot of people, they look at this gap between where they have the potential to go and where they currently are now, and they just say, that's not for me. And they back away from it. And if you think about it for yourself, or you can think of someone they seem inclined towards something. They have potential to become so much in a particular area, and yet they shy away from it, or they back away from it because they look at where they are right now. They look at their current capability, and they say, there is no way that the way I am right now in my capability could ever reach the place where I have the potential to go to. So a large number of people move away from that and do not pursue their ultimate potential. But then you get those who are courageous. You get those who are triers. You get those who are so excited about trying because they're determined that they want to experience progress. They want to go somewhere. They want to set goals. They want to achieve them. And that's actually a very core human need, because as human beings, we orient ourselves in this world through goals. In fact, our neurological system, our dopaminergic systems are shaped around reaching goals and reaching places that we decided that we're going to set out. In fact, that's why if you're someone who enjoys planning, you'll notice that as soon as you sit down and write a plan, you feel a little bit of happiness, because that's your brain releasing a little bit of dopamine saying, we have a plan, now we want to get there. And as soon as you get there, you get double or triple that happiness, because now the dopamine circle is complete. It's a neurological factor in our brain. And so most of us, without thinking about it, we just keep setting goals. And we keep saying, I want to go here, I want to try that. And if I do this, I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to feel accomplished. And that's a good thing. Problem is, your dream could be 26 miles away, and you can only go about 200 yards. And so this is where I find people set themselves up for massive disappointment and failure. They go to get motivated. They go pick up a motivational book. They'll go listen to a motivational speaker. They'll go get Audible, and it'll be like some incredible book like Awaken Your Power or something like that, or something really, really motivational. And they'll put their headphones on, and they'll hear that booming voice over the mic saying that if you can dream it, you can do it. And they start to charge themselves with that energy. It gets so exciting. I can dream it, I can do it. I can dream it, I can do it. And so they go and they're putting on their shoes, and they're tying their laces, and they're putting on, clothes they haven't worn since high school. But, today's my day. I'm going to go out and I'm going to try to hit those 26 miles. And so they're kind of just getting themselves into this big sense of anticipation. I can dream it, I can do it. And they get out the front door and they start running 50 yards, 100 yards, 150 yards, 200 yards. Their lungs start burning. Their legs start aching. They start to wobble a bit. But no, willpower is going to get me through this. I can dream it. I can do it. I can dream it. I can do it. 250 yards, 270 yards. 300 yards, they collapse and fall flat on their face, because willpower is a limited resource. Willpower can never push you beyond your capability further than it can go. It can only take you so far. And so you're down on the floor, gasping for breath. If you're lucky, you haven't passed out, but you're wheezing, you're sweating, and above all, you're crushed. I can't do it. I dreamed it, but I couldn't do it. I guess this is not for me. And those are the ones who actually end up missing their potential. Not because they didn't even have the desire to go after it. It's because they had that desire. They had that fortitude. They had that willpower, but they couldn't reach the threshold of their own capability. And that's why I tell every single one of my clients, on your journey towards your potential, you will fall over your limited capability. So what then? Are we just forced to accept our fate? Are we just forced to just say, well, we'll never become the people that we want to become. We'll never achieve the things that we want to achieve. We'll never be able to go after the things that we desire. No, that's not the case. Because so many people every single day are actually living out their potential and making a difference. So there's got to be something that they're doing right. And there's got to be a way that we can take it and apply it to our own lives. Thankfully, there is. And that's contained in another word, capacity. Capacity is the maximum amount that something can contain or produce. Now, the thing with capacity it tends to expand. You might have a certain amount of capacity at the moment. With a little bit of effort, the capacity begins to increase. And slowly but surely, through consistent and concerted effort, capacity always increases. And as capacity increases, capability grows along with it. So if I were coaching the person who decided that they wanted to run a marathon, what would I tell them? I would say, don't go out and run 300, 400, 500 yards. First of all, get up, tell yourself that you're going to go out and you're going to run those 200 yards. Get dressed in your clothes, put your shoes on, run the 200, stop at 200. And when you stop at 200, walk back around, reflect on what you did, and congratulate yourself on the fact that you reached the limit of your capability. You reached your current capacity. Now go back and do it again tomorrow. You do that for a week. Consistently hit the 200 yards, walk back around, and then come back and do it the next day. After a week, you are not only going to be able to breach 300, you're going to hit 400 yards. And what do you think goes through your mind at that moment? There's joy. There's excitement, because progress always equals happiness. If you're taking notes and there's one thing you get away from this, I want you to write this down. Progress always equals happiness. Joy always fuels effort, because willpower never lasts. But when you start seeing yourself make progress, when you start seeing yourself doing things that you were not capable of doing before, you get excited. You get energized. You're like, I could never do this. Now I'm actually doing this. I love it. And rather than you having to pull yourself towards your goals, push yourself towards your goals, the joy pulls you forward. So then I would tell the client, for the next week, run those 400 yards, but stop at 350 and do that consistently for a week. Just because if you experience a little bit of progress, just because your capacity is expanded a little bit, does not mean that it's ready to reach its full potential. The thing about capacity is if you expand it too fast, it can backfire on you, like a balloon bursting or a rubber band snapping back. Take it slowly. You do this consistently enough for another week. Within a month, or for some people, even 5 weeks, you'll be hitting a mile. And that's when things start really going faster. Because if you've probably noticed, if you've ever undergone a journey of transformation, or you try to go after a particular goal, or even within your business, you're trying to accomplish something and you're following a particular path, you'll always know that the maximum amount of effort goes in to just get yourself started. And then the hardest part to get through is the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, just getting to that first threshold of your goal. You get beyond that and it starts becoming easier. That's when you start getting back equal to what you're putting in. And after a while, as you put in, what you start getting back is exponential beyond that, to the point that where running those 200 yards was taking you 5 minutes, you may get to the point within 6 months to a year where you can run over a mile in those same 5 minutes. The idea is that as you grow, as your capacity increases, you get far more from your effort. And then keep up with that consistently, I can promise you, depending on how consistent you are with it, that within 6 months to a year, and for some people might take a little bit longer, 18 months, but within 6 to 18 months, you will be able to run those 26 miles. Something you could never have done before. Something you could dream of, but you thought was only a dream. Just because you changed one thing. You increased your capacity. And so if we want to reach our potential, we need to increase our capability by expanding our capacity. And all of this comes down to one more word: consistency. And if this is the one thing you can take away with you. What are you doing consistently every single day to move towards your potential? And so before I close this session up and move over into some question and answers before we transition to a close, I want you to stop and think about one area of your life where you currently feel that you're stuck in. And it's something that you have the potential for. It's something that you have a dream in. It's something that you would love to go after. It's something that you know that you actually could be exponentially good at it. Think about that. Write it down. What is that thing? Once you have visualized that and written it down, I want you to write down what is your current capability in that area. If this is where you have the potential to be, where are you now? An awareness around where you currently stand helps to shape your journey going forward, which is why when you log into Google Maps and you're trying to find a way to get to your destination, Google will always ask you where you want to go and where your current location is. If you don't know your current location, you could be 5 minutes or 5 hours away from where you want to go. Where is your potential? What is your current capability? And then what is your capacity for it? Write that down and then think about what is one thing I can do today to start increasing that capacity. What is one thing I can start doing today to increase that capacity? And how can I do it consistently? Because when you're consistent with the things that you determine you're going to do, regardless of how small or regardless of how slow the progress seems initially, it's the consistency to do the little things that increases your capacity, which boosts your capabilities. And you might not see the progress within 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month, but you will feel happier. You might not know why, but you'll feel happier because you're actually starting to gain momentum towards that goal. And then 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, if you have been consistently faithful with pushing your capacity and growing your capability, you'll turn around and look back and say, wow, that's where I started from. Here is where I am now. How did I get here? I don't know. I didn't think it was possible. I dreamed of being here. I wanted to be here. This is always where I wanted to go. Never thought it was possible. I've even tried it before and hit an obstacle and went back. But now that I'm being consistent to expand my capacity, my capability has increased, and I'm moving every single day towards my limitless potential. I want to ask everybody, just for a quick second, if you can close your eyes. Can everyone just close their eyes with me? And I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill up your lungs, hold it for a second, and breathe out through your mouth. Again, take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it in, release through your mouth. One final time. Take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it in your lungs, release through your mouth. Now, as you're breathing, I want you to bring to your mind a memory of when you were really happy. Something that happened in your life that brought you a lot of joy. Something that happened in your life that produced a feeling of overwhelming gratitude and happiness. And as you're thinking of this, I want you to reflect on the feelings that you were experiencing in the moment that you were in this event. Can you picture it? Can you see it? Can you feel it? Take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. Release it through your mouth. One more time, all together. Take another deep breath. Hold it in. Release it. Now open your eyes. And I want you to look at me. Your happiest moments are still ahead of you. No matter the happiest that you may have felt in the past, there is still more happiness awaiting you. The joy that you have felt before is actually incomparable to the joy that you still have the potential to experience. The success and the growth that you've experienced in the past is nothing when compared to the potential growth and success that awaits you as a company, you as a person, and you as an organization in the field that you are in, because your potential is limitless. And because of that, your joy, your growth, your happiness, and your success can be and will be limitless. And so it is my hope and my prayer for each and every one of you as individuals and as an organization as a whole, be consistent with what grows your capacity. As you focus on it day in and day out, those small actions, your capability will increase. And as your capability increases, not only will you find limitless success and limitless growth, but you will find, and I promise you this, you will find happiness and joy in your work and in your life that you never thought possible before. So thank you for giving me this time to share it with you. And thank you for being who you are, doing what you do, pursuing the things that you pursue. May you achieve your ultimate potential, and may your life be happy and blessed as a result. Thank you very much.